And this is America's one and only Jewish Moments in the Morning radio program, heard on listeners-sponsored digital radio around the world, the web at NachumSegal.com and the Nachum Segal Network, and, of course, the beloved NSN app. David Matlow is with us live via telephone. He has started a brand new series available to all around the world. We'll explain in a moment. He is, of course, the world's expert and most amazing collector of an incredible collection of Herzl items, Theodore Herzl. If you're not familiar with Theodore Herzl, Google him. Read up on him. The person who dreamed of a state of Israel and never lived to see it, but, of course, his remains are on Har Herzl, next to the remains of those of our beloved soldiers who have given their lives to defend the state, the land, the nation, the people of Israel, both in Israel and, frankly, around the world as well. David Matlow, a pleasure to welcome you back to JM and the AM.
Thank you very much. Good morning. It's great to be back.
Appreciate that. I would hope that as you make your way around the different schools and synagogues and organizations, you don't find too many people who haven't heard of Theodore Herzl. It makes your job even more challenging, doesn't it?
Well, it does. People know the man with the beard, the man on the balcony, but don't really know all that he did. They may know that he was the visionary of the state of Israel, but they would have no idea of the history that ensued as a result of his work that led to the creation of the state, a short 44 years after he passed away.
And I don't know. I mean, we haven't discussed every item in your collection. That would be impossible. But just remind us how many items there are in the David Matlow Herzl collection.
I have over 6,000 items. Frankly, I've lost count, but I can tell by the number of FedEx delivery couriers that come to my house. There's probably more than 6,000 by now.
What have you gotten I know we have a lot to talk about, your new series and more. We'll get to everything. What have you gotten recently? Like you just said, FedEx. In the last week, has anything arrived at your home/Herzl museum of note?
Well, not in the last week, because I started a different series, not the one that we'll talk about today, called Herzl Break. And I put that on summer hiatus because I'm focusing on the Herzl 100. But in the Herzl Break, just like in the opening of baseball card packages that are found, I open a new package of Herzl items. So there's about 10 of them sitting in my home that I'm waiting for when I resume the season in the fall.
And give me an example of something you opened during a Herzl Break recently. Is there one that stood out to you?
I purchased this large sculpture. It's probably 2 feet tall. It's over 100 years old. It's a wooden sculpture of Herzl, and he's holding the hand of an elderly Jewish man. And there's a debate, is that Moses or is that an elderly Jewish man? He's holding his hand and they're walking forward, and Herzl is leading this person to Eretz Israel. It's as I said, 100 years old wooden sculpture. And I find it quite striking and beautiful. And that came in a big box.
Do you know who the sculptor is?
There is a debate about who the sculptor is, and the current thinking is, I believe the man's name is Kandinsky. He was an artist who lived in Eretz Israel.
Wow.
A woodworker.
90 seconds into our conversation with David Matlow, we're already fascinated, to say the least. He's got the world's largest collection of Herzl items. I've seen it up close and personal. It is amazing. And I remind the audience that David did all of us a favor by bringing an exhibit to New York. You may recall he brought an exhibit to New York, and he has exhibits that are traveling exhibits that he could bring to different schools, organizations, etc. And I do want to recommend to everybody, we have a lot of principals and faculty members who are listening to this broadcast. They do so every single day. And now during the summer months, you're thinking about who to bring to your school to make special days regarding Israel even more special, or just in general to bring a special guest with some amazing artifacts. If you want to get in touch with David Matlow, you make sure to let us know, and we'll make sure to put that together because it's just too much valuable information, too many amazing things that he has that really need to be seen by people who are both young and older. All right, so you alluded to the fact that you've got a brand new series. Explain to everybody how they can access this and what it's all about.
The new series is called the Herzl 100. So it's hashtag Herzl and the number 100. And what I am doing is I am showing the 100 greatest artifacts in my collection. It's almost a virtual exhibit. So if you can't get the exhibit to your town, and if you're a principal or a teacher, you can see by the time the series is complete, which will be right before Rosh Hashanah, you will see 100 items in my collection explained by me in vignettes that are available on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. So I'm counting down from number 100 to the greatest Herzl artifact in my collection. I say it's the greatest Herzl artifact of all time. I'm 1/3 of the way through. I started on June 6th. So today I posted number 67. Recall I'm counting down by 100. And each one is a 1 or 2 minute video of me explaining the item and why it's important and how it fits into Herzl's story of seeing a problem, anti-Semitism, worrying about the future of the Jewish people, and essentially the building blocks of what he did to start the Zionist movement, inspire people to follow him, and ultimately led to the state. So there's artifacts about the Zionist congresses. There's his book, The Jewish State, which was number 92, believe it or not. When I posted The Jewish State is 92, someone wrote me to say, how could there be 91 more important items than that?
They were angry at you.
But stay tuned for that.
So 1 second, and all they have to do is search either your name or Herzl 100 on all those social media outlets.
Correct. And it's also on X and Threads. Yes, if you search hashtag Herzl 100 or you search my name, David Matlow, on Instagram or Facebook. On TikTok, it's Mar David, Mardaveed. If you search that, you will see one, and through that, you can see all of them. They don't disappear, so there's 34 online now, and I post them late in the day. So, for instance, number 66, I don't want to ruin the surprise, but that's going to be posted later today, and this will follow all through the summer.
All right, so those who would like to see or will see at some point today your most recent video, number 67 has a special distinction that you're on the day that 67 was released. So let us know, what is it that number 67 is in terms of the top 100 Herzl artifacts?
So the number 67, which is online right now, is a Russian Hatikva. So not that Hatikva isn't in Russian, but it was actually printed in Odessa in the early 1900s and has a picture of Herzl on it. And it includes all 9 verses of the Hatikva.
In Russian?
2 verses of the Hatikva, but there are 9.
Right. In Russian?
It's in Hebrew with Russian translation.
Ah, got it. Wow. So first of all, look at this. Every time you do anything having to do with Herzl, you teach us something. We all know there are 2 verses to Hatikva, but you say no. There's actually 9, and the first 2 have been designated as the national anthem of the State of Israel.
Correct. And I'm also trying through the series to educate people. I dare say that your listeners do not need an education of what Zionism is, but when I launched this out into the world, anybody can see it, and even those who are Israel's detractors, and I can tell there are many out there by the comments that I receive, to explain to them what the idea was that Herzl had, the right of the Jewish people to live freely and safely in our ancestral homeland. It's as simple as that. And the media and our haters would suggest it's something much more malevolent than that. It isn't. So through these items, I explain what Herzl's vision was. And for instance, for the 4th of July, your 250th birthday, I posted a postcard from 1910 with the U.S. flag and the Zionist flag, later the flag of the State of Israel, and that got quite a good reception and was shared quite broadly because of the festivities of the birthday, America's birthday. But it also explains that the alignment of interest between the United States and Zionism and later Israel, which continues to this day, sometimes it's rockier than other times, but about the desire for freedom, a more perfect union, to pursue liberty, to be an example to the world. Those kind of things are not just nonsense that people say. It's based on the building blocks of Zionism from more than 100 years ago. And these items show that.
And sadly, you can confirm, and I'm just reiterating what you said, but I just want to make sure people heard it. You can confirm that there are plenty of people who have a lot to say, negative things to say about Zionism, negative things, negative comments. I'm sure very hateful comments, because that's the way social media works whenever you post anything. So you can confirm that we're in another period of time, an extended and what seems to be continuous period of time of anti-Semitism. And number one, I remind everybody that you're in Canada, and not that you're any different than what's going on in the United States, but there are cities in Canada that are getting a lot of attention when it comes to anti-Semitic episodes, etc. And the second thing I would say is that how many times, David Matlow, do you think as you're posting and as you hear about anti-Semitic incidents and you see all these comments that are coming through on social media, how often do you think about how Herzl was affected by all this, how a major anti-Semitic episode spurred him on to dream about and to put into practical purpose an action that would eventually lead to the State of Israel? I'm sure that whole anti-Semitism piece comes to your mind a lot.
I think about it all the time. The Dreyfus trial that took place in 1894 with the Jewish officer in the French army that was wrongfully charged and then convicted of treason, spying for Germany. This is what really sparked Herzl to do something about anti-Semitism. He wrote his book, The Judenstaat, the Jewish State, number 91 on the list, as a solution to anti-Semitism. And I think about that. For us in Toronto, it's not very dissimilar to how Parisian Jews must have felt when an event happened, in their case, Dreyfus, in our case, October 7th, and anti-Semitism, which we thought was in the dustbins of history, was clearly percolating under the surface and came back. But Herzl teaches us that we can do something about it, that we are not saddled with the conditions in which we find ourselves. And this comes up a lot in the Herzl 100. It's not simply about noting something and fetching about it and whining about it and hoping it will be better. We can do something about it, whatever that might be. And it's clear from the series that Herzl was a journalist and a playwright and a lawyer, and he threw all those skills at trying to solve for anti-Semitism. He was a guy, he was a person just like us. He was not some superhuman. So all of us can have the capacity to make a little bit of a difference and not just resign ourselves to the trouble, whether it's in our home community, it's in Israel, in the world. We have the power to change it.
Yeah. Excellent point. I got to say it again to the principals, to the educators, to the faculty members. David Matlow has done a lot of the work for you. School year begins in September. You're looking for projects that have to do with Israel, Zionism, especially during these times. He's outlined on social media all these items. You literally could have students in a class just, write about some of the items, explore them, research them, put together their own lists, et cetera, et cetera. And I highly recommend you do it. To search Herzl 100 on all the social media sites. And, of course, David Matlow, you can search his name, Matlow, and get to all of this and get a real education when it comes to the history of Zionism. And now my fun question, of course, David, is will we find the Herzl socks? Will we find the Herzl socks among the top 100?
Well, I had a debate about whether Herzl socks should be included. And of course, it's my own list of 100. And frankly, I have so many that I wanted to use the series to educate. And as interesting and as fun as the Herzl socks are, it would be a lost opportunity to share something more meaningful. Though Theo, the Herzl mascot, will show up. So there's, and I think the bobblehead is on the list. There's a Herzl bobblehead. And I didn't want to put socks in because I had run out of them. I had made 5,000 and they lasted me to hand out to people to help share the story. The idea of the socks is you look at the socks and there's Herzl.
You don't have,
people would say, well, who's Herzl?
You don't have an extra Herzl bobblehead, do you?
I'll have to look through my inventory. You're missing one?
No, I never got one, but I would love to have that. You've given us some amazing Herzl items. The bobblehead I'd love to have. That'd be so cool.
I will look for one for you. That is on our list. So if people have no idea what we're talking about, they're going to have to wait. It's coming up probably in a month and a half.
Wow, it got that high on the list. Bobbleheads have a way of doing that, huh? They are real collectibles.
Absolutely. People love bobbleheads.
Yeah, they really do. They get very, very high on the list. And what was the hockey thing? Was there a puck or a jersey? What was it that was hockey related with Herzl that you had?
And yeah, that was number 99, a puck from the Herzl Cup, and it was really an example of how Herzl's name and likeness and his vision appears on so many different things. In this case, a hockey puck. He didn't know about hockey, but I say that in Canada, if you want to get someone's attention, connect it to hockey somehow.
Oh, good point. Good point. It's the national pastime up north. So that's the way to really get people to focus on it. What a delight to speak to you as always. Everyone check out Herzl 100 online on all the social media outlets. Herzl 100, literally the number 100 online, or just search David Matlow, Matlow, as the series continues. A great opportunity during the summer to really brush up on all things Zionist. And David Matlow, a pleasure to speak to you again. And big Yasher Koach. It's a great series. You're always coming up with something original, and we love following you.
Thank you so much. Hashtag Herzl 100. Really appreciate you help spreading the word.
Oh, a pleasure. Hashtag Herzl 100, everybody. Oh, maybe Avrami will put today's video, number 67. Maybe he'll put that in our newsletter as well. That'd be great. But yes, hashtag Herzl 100. More coming up. You're listening to a Monday morning edition, JM in the AM.